Welcome back to the channel, you curd nerds. If you've been following along on Instagram, you know we did a top end overhaul on that engine that's up there on that pylon, which means it's got a break-in period. We have to do some special flying to actually break that engine in. And you know what? We're gonna go to the whiteboard and talk about this so that we can actually get a good idea of, well, what we're actually gonna be doing. So here we are at the whiteboard. We already got a cylinder all drawn out. So we know this is our piston, right? Piston rides up inside the cylinders. Now, this is what you might see from the outside. We get all of the fins that you normally see while you're doing your pre-flight and you're looking through the cowling, right? This is what it looks like inside. You can think of this as a cross section. So as I said, we got the piston. These are our cylinder rings on the piston. Now, when we did that top end overhaul, we didn't replace these cylinders. All we did was we measured them for dimensionality, making sure that they fell within the brand new Lycoming spec, not the used, not the overhauled. We made sure that they fell within the brand new Lycoming spec. Since we introduced new cross hatching on the cylinder walls, meaning we took a ball hone, we rode it up and down inside the cylinder walls to reintroduce cross hatching, and we put new rings on it. These rings have to break in. These rings have to conform to this new cross hatching. Now, what does that mean for us? How is this going to impact the way that we operate this engine? Well, according to, again, the Lycoming overhaul break-in manual, what we want to do is we want to try and keep as much pressure above the piston as possible, because what we don't want to happen is the oil that gets up into these cylinder walls, or gets up into these cylinders, we don't want it to get past the rings, because if it gets past the rings, the heat that's generated from up here will actually cook that oil and bake it to the cylinder walls, glazing the cylinder walls. And if the cylinder walls get glazed, we end up losing compression, we end up burning oil, and we end up having to take the whole engine apart all over again and reintroduce more cross hatching, clean out the oil coking. So we want to make sure that we break in these engines appropriately. So we're not going to do any zero power descents, or at least not any extended zero power descents. We're not going to be doing a bunch of pattern work. We're going to go up and we're going to do laps. We're just going to do circles at around 2,400 RPM and around 24 inches of manifold pressure, because the manual calls for 65 to 75% power, and 24 is right around 70% power, according to, again, the Lycoming manual. So let's get the airplane all ready and let's go fly.
Alright, everything's in the green. And there's 90. Let's go ahead and make sure which. About 1,800 RPM. About 80 RPM drop, back to move. About 70 RPM drop, back to move. Bring it back to idle, make sure it doesn't die. Doesn't die, right around 750 RPM. Mixture switch, flaps are down, trims in the green. Test. Alright. Door County Fairland traffic, Lake 1 Hotel Tango, taking off runway 2, and just gonna fly up and hang out up there for a while. Hey, transponders. So, right around here at the entrance to the runway. Everything's in green. Airspeed's alive. And we're up. Here. About 24 inches of natural pressure.
Now here's the thing, there's not really much else to do anymore at this point. We've taken off, we're climbing on out, we've got our power set at 75%, and we're gonna sit here circling the airport for 2 hours. And of course, with the magic of video editing, you're not gonna have to sit here for 2 hours like I did, freezing my butt off. This was absolutely freezing. I think it was -8 or -12 by the time we actually got up to altitude. We ended up setting the power for, as I said, 75% according to those CGR 30s. And it gave us about 100 foot per minute climb. So by the time we were done with all of this, we had gotten up to about 4,500 feet. And ooh, had it gotten chilly. And I don't ever want to have to do this again. This was absolutely miserable. This was absolutely freezing. I would have much rather been able to say, hey, who wants to build some flight time and put 10 hours on my brand new engine or put 2 hours on my brand new engine so that I didn't have to do this. But my insurance would have definitely not been happy about that. So I'm stuck breaking in this engine. Now, as this fun adventure comes to an end, or this break-in period comes to an end, let's talk about the outcomes of this. Now, everyone's always concerned after they rebuild an engine, after they put new rings on an engine, is this thing gonna burn oil? Are these rings actually going to seat in? And if you do everything properly, if you put the mineral oil in, you keep the manifold pressures high, you follow the procedures, you shouldn't run into any oil consumption problems, and the engine should break in just fine. And what you're going to notice as we come into land, I'm going to be a little long on this landing. I'm going to take probably close to 1,500 feet to actually get slow enough to exit the runway. And the reason is I'm trying to stay away from that idle power, just like the manual told me to. So to kind of close this up, we only burned 1/4 of a quart during this entire process. So I would call that a successful break-in. And we even took the airplane off to paint, keeping that power setting high. And even for a 5-hour flight to take this thing to paint, it still only burned about 1.5 quarts. So I would call that a success. And if you want to see the flight where we took this thing down to paint, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow along so that you can get all the new videos, especially one where we took this thing off to paint. And as always, fly safe and keep it cheesy.